Hey, my name is John Williams with Kimberly Nurseries, and today we're going to talk about tree and shrub planting. There's a saying out there that says the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. The next best time to plant a tree is today. Trees and shrubs, when they're planted properly, they can provide years of beauty and shade and privacy. There's a few things to keep in mind when dealing with planting trees and shrubs. Probably the most important is to select the right plant for the right place. I've seen a lot of situations where people put the wrong plant in the wrong place, and the tree or shrub outgrows the space super quickly. So selecting a plant that's going to maintain the right size and have the right sun exposure for the space is key. This is key for maintenance. If you have a plant that starts to outgrow the space after just a year or two, and you constantly have to be trimming it back to keep it under control, it's probably not the best plant for that place. And it may require, ultimately, pulling the plant out and putting the right plant in. It's also important to keep in mind your light requirements. Trees and shrubs that require more sun, if they're put in a place where there's a lot of shade, will always struggle. And vice versa. If a plant likes a lot of shade and it's placed in the sun, it'll continue to struggle until ultimately it may have to be removed and replaced with a plant that's more suited for those locations. How plants are planted is almost as important as selecting the right plant. There are a few things to keep in mind when planting. So the first thing you'll do when planting a plant is dig the hole. When digging the hole, it's important to remember to dig the hole about twice as big as the root ball of the plant. For example, if you have a plant that has a pot that has a 12-inch diameter across the top, you'll want to dig a hole that's about 24 inches across, a 24-inch diameter. You'll only want to dig the hole about the same depth as the pot is tall. If you do over-excavate, it's important to put some soil back in and pack it back down nice and tight. Loose soil will settle and cause that plant to sink down, and then ultimately it's planted too deeply. It's also important to remember to add some soil amendments to your soil, such as compost, soil pep, or amended soil. Before backfilling, this just helps add some organic material to the soil and improves the soil for the plants. Be sure to use your existing soil to mix the soil amendments into and use that soil to backfill, because we don't want the plant to think that it's still in a pot and have the roots just go around and around in a circle in a hole in the ground. If the plant is in a pot, pull the plant out of the pot and check the roots. Occasionally, plants will be root bound inside of that pot, which means there are roots that are encircling the full root ball of the plant. If this is the case, take a knife and cut those roots so that they will spread out and grow into the soil. After you have the hole prepared and the soil amendments in your soil, you're about ready to put the plant in the hole. Plants are like people. They have a good side and a bad side, so it's important to aim the good side at the side you're going to be viewing the plant from. As I mentioned, don't plant the plant too deep. If you plant the plant too deep, then water can hang out around the crown of the plant and can cause some crown rot, which will ultimately kill the plant. So it's important to have the crown of the plant or the level of the plant in the pot at the same level as your existing soil. Next comes backfill, and you'll backfill around the plant with your amended soil. Be sure you tap that down periodically as you put soil around it. You want to make sure you reduce the large air pockets around the root ball to be able to encourage those roots. The roots will go out into the soil, but they won't go out into air pockets. After you have everything backfilled, it's important to water the plant in thoroughly. Larger trees are going to take a lot more water than a small shrub will, but they need to be provided enough water so it soaks down through the whole root profile. You can do this by using a 5-gallon bucket and watering it multiple times, or you can even set a hose out on the plant on a slow trickle and move it from plant to plant and let it sit there for a few minutes for each plant. The key is to let that water soak down deep into the soil. We will also water in with a root stimulator. This has a bunch of nutrients and things that the plants like to help encourage a lot of root growth. This helps the plant get established a lot faster, and the faster a plant can get established, the faster it's going to start growing and doing well. We also include mycorrhiza when we plant. Mycorrhiza is a fungus that will attach to the roots of the plant, and they form a symbiotic relationship where the mycorrhiza will pull in additional nutrients and water and make those available to the plant. And then the plant, in turn, provides the mycorrhiza with sugars and food. And so the mycorrhiza help to improve or increase the amount of surface area that the plants have available to them. A well thought out planting plan can greatly increase the curb appeal and the look and feel of your property, and doing it right the first time can save you a lot of time and money in the long run. We have a team of professional landscape designers that are educated and trained in knowing the plants that do well in our area. So if this is something we can help you out with, please give us a call.